Wait. So like, do you disagree with that you don't deserve it, or you just can't?
No,
do
like
it?
I get, like if you pay for something, you'd want it to be like the best it can be,
Right.
or what you're expecting. But when it's not, I just roll with it.
So
100% of the
Same.
time.
When something goes wrong, and it's egregious.
Like, in what way?
Oh man, I'm trying to think back to an example.
I mean, there's
Your
like,
last example was you didn't get a meal on your first class flight.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
on
I
your
pay
first
for a
flight.
first class flight
Oh,
This is already rough.
awesome.
to Minneapolis and I was going to see the Minnesota Vikings play football.
Right.
And for
It's
a
a
playoff
3-hour
game.
flight, by the way.
It's a 3-hour flight. And I took my friend and a couple of family members, and I flew everybody first class. And we get on the plane, and
Wait, so you refunded multiple tickets?
I'll get there.
We didn't even know that.
So
I like that this is the second time we're hearing the story, and it's like an onion. There's so many new layers to it.
New details.
So I fly Delta a lot.
Right.
And the we get on board, and the immediate thing, oven's broken. Shit. No, which means
Don't look at him like
Yeah.
he's gonna agree with you.
That's it's
Right?
the worst.
Oven-
Right? Don't you hate
oven-
that?
That's an outrage.
Oven's broken, no first class meal. Now, here's the deal. Look,
By the way, he got no. Tell this part though. You got that flight specifically because you wanted to get the meal. You
Yes.
could have gotten another flight.
part of the experience of flying first class is getting served food on this particular route. And so I
What was the meal supposed to be?
it was supposed to be like some sort of I think it was a quiche.
This is so bougie. It's
Okay.
unreal.
Some sort of quiche.
Oh my god.
Right? So we didn't get the
Nothing hits quite like airplane quiche.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about this is that it's like so dog shit. Like Delta especially, the food is so bad.
But look, and I didn't get mad at the flight attendant. It's not their fault.
Yeah,
It's not their issue.
she didn't blow up the
I would
oven.
never get mad at the flight attendant. They were awesome. We had a great time. I ran into one of them in Phoenix like 3 weeks later. Hey man, what's up? Big Philadelphia Eagles fan. Side story for another time. But anyway,
Trying to humanize this.
so anyway,
I kissed his baby. It was great.
Yeah.
so then I go to corporate and I say, hey, look, with all respect, I need. I paid for this flight. I understand something went wrong with it.
How
it was
many
out of your
tickets did
control.
you have in first class?
3.
So you were refunding 3 tickets.
And I got a refund for all 3 tickets.
Were they like profusely apologizing to you for it?
Not
Dude,
profusely,
because-
but they
no,
were just
because-
like, sorry, it wasn't a good experience.
He is like a rewards demon.
I'm like the top of the
Okay,
fucking
here's
food chain.
now it's time for me to fucking talk shit.
Okay, I'm ready for this.
Guess what? So, because he's a rewards demon, I kind of utilize Austin like my what is it called? Like my
concierge?
booking agent.
Ambassador.
Yeah. No, but like he books everything for me.
Yeah.
He gets the points off of
I
it.
do.
It's great for him, whatever. But I also get the
I
you
don't.
know,
Yeah, I don't get your point.
I get all of the extra benefits of like being like a Halcyon member of like Delta Marriott.
Top of the,
Is
top
that
of the food
Halcyon?
chain. Yeah. Well, no, it's ambassador. but-
Yeah, I just
okay.
made it
He
up.
doesn't
I don't know.
Okay.
It's like he's like the 10th Don of fucking Delta and
Right.
also Marriott
Yeah.
in the Marriott franchise,
Yeah.
right? They know him.
Yeah.
And because he's such a fucking point demon, a point rat, if you will, okay, he booked the JW Marriott for us, okay? And there was apparently a much nicer hotel in the same franchise, the Edition. And he literally was like, well, sorry, I was getting a lot more points at the JW Marriott, so I booked you at the JW Marriott.
That sounds reasonable,
Yeah, I
honestly.
think so
yeah.
too, right?
I'm like, bro, I don't
Thank
give a
you.
fuck. Put me in the nicest one, because like it's so expensive, because it's like the weekend where like Taylor Swift is here,
Yeah.
and all this stuff's happening. So like the prices are insane for
Yeah,
like
the Swifties have come in.
But Charlie, let me
numbers.
tell you something that he's not telling you. March pulled up to his hotel at 6 o'clock in the morning. They were on the same flight, and he had to wait how many hours? 2 hours for his
that's
room.
devastating.
I arranged for Hassan. He arrived at the same time immediately, 6 o'clock in the morning. King bed, room ready.
Let
They
me
got
let me
me?
tell you something that they're both not telling you. Creator Clash got them a free room at the hotel I'm at, and
Yeah.
they both opted out of it.
Okay,
That's tragic.
Yeah,
okay. Look,
that's true. This is true. This is facts. That's
look. I don't want to be disrespectful because I'm very gracious, and I am using the room to store my luggage this afternoon.
Taking full advantage of their
true.
hospitality. That is so
I'm
sweet.
glad that the room is being put to good use with your luggage. You're not even using their room.
No,
You
I'm
put it
using
in
Will's.
room.
But
I didn't want to say anything.
I didn't want to throw fuel
Look.
on the fire.
But respectfully, I need. This was a points trip for me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
needed to
yeah.
get some
Awesome.
points. I needed some points.
But you're gonna enjoy the fights tonight, right?
I will not be at the fight tonight.
So do you go to places just for points?
Yes, sometimes.
No.
Yeah.
He's such a freak. No, literally.
going to Miami tonight instead of.
I have to be there to film tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would be here for the fights. If I
No, no,
could.
Gotcha.
we brought Austin from Miami to here specifically so we could do this podcast.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge. Thank you for
Yeah,
taking the
and
time.
sorry, Charlie, and we're just like we're like
Hey.
you're reacting now to all this
Which
shit.
is
It's funny,
fine,
but like,
yeah.
because this is usually.
I think
how we do
B5
it.
is the
We always have a
move.
guest, but like we just
talk at 'em.
kind of talk.
Yeah.
That's
So-
half the fun though. Like that is the point of a podcast.
Yeah.
That's what we do on ours as well. I think that's the most healthy and natural way of running one.
What's
Yeah.
your
What's the last
theater?
big topic you had on your podcast? Lead us in a conversation.
You talk
Oh.
about cocks a lot.
We do.
Do you have like a nuanced cock topic that we haven't covered yet?
No, not really. We haven't talked about masturbatory deeds in a long time.
Okay.
We've usually been doing
Falling
topic-
off a little bit.
Yeah, we've been doing
on that
topical
front.
cock stuff. So
Do people get sick of that sort of thing?
we kind of did because it's like, how many times can you talk about masturbating in different ways, right? Before it just gets to a point where it's like it's the same deal.
Before
right?
it's masturbating.
Yeah, before it's just masturbating.
True.
Yeah. So usually, if we're talking about wiener, it's if it's topical at the time.
Okay, what's some topical wiener?
Is there anything like breaking?
What's
So,
going on in the
actually,
world
because he
cock
played
scene?
F4,
There
maybe
actually
you
has been
shouldn't
one,
have done that because now he could go
yesterday.
D6. But
A
if he goes D6, I think I will go
can't remember
B5
where.
immediately.
Police dispatcher, 911 dispatcher, was caught sexting
then,
7
um,
officers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And confirmed affairs with 2 of them, and they're
Holy
facing
shit.
termination.
Yeah.
And the
Whoa.
sext messages leaked.
Why would they get terminated for that?
Just unprofessional
That's the-
fucking at work.
That's the
they-
only.
Yeah.
That's the only thing cops get fired for in America. Remember the one that was like throwing it back for the whole precinct?
Yeah,
crazy.
Megan. Yeah, Megan.
Megan.
Superstar.
They're on a first name basis with her.
She's a superstar.
Was she
Yeah.
a Florida cop?
No, she
No.
was a Tennessee cop.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of twists and turns there. She started claiming they groomed her into it.
Oh, okay.
There's, it gets it's
Yeah.
a web.
Whoa.
Did
Lot to untangle.
this particular 911 operator were they sexting on the job?
Yeah, so
Oh my
a lot of
God.
the problem because they were doing it on duty apparently.
Yeah, dude, can you
It's like
imagine
responding
they send
to a
text,
domestic
they're
abuse
like,
call.
Here's a picture of my tits. By the way, there's a fire downtown.
It's just like there's like an overdose. You're going to an overdose call. She's like, oh, I want to overdose on your cock right now.
God.
I wish that so they have some of the text messages. I wish it was more like that. It actually feels like if you've ever read like My Immortal, that fanfic.
Oh, give me some.
So one of them is she was talking to one of the officers,
Yeah.
but the guy's like a lobotomite. So every time she would say something, he just says every text message is like 9 M's.
Yum.
And they always talk about kissing. So she's like, I can't wait to see you later so I can give you some smoochies. And
Dude,
then she
that's
puts
my favorite.
she puts
type
little
of
fucking
sexting.
like kissing
That's
emoji.
Not sexy. That just sounds like someone's in a
No,
relationship.
no, that's like that, when you're like super repressed. Like that's the kind of sexting that you
Oh,
do.
they're
It's
lip
so-
hungry
it's
harlots.
so
It
bad.
goes both ways. Like either you're like saying the most freak like shit. It's like I want to hang you upside down.
I
from
want to
your penis.
piss on your
Yeah,
tits.
it's either like that,
Sounds
or
very
it's like, oh, I can't wait to.
Will.
Yeah,
That will.
yeah. I can't wait to. That is. Yeah. That
I
was
want to
very
piss on
specific.
your tits.
I'm a humorist.
Yeah. He just made that up. That totally is not something he thinks or says.
Yeah.
I want to see you
Or it's
use the
something like-
Moby Hughes.
Yeah. Or something like, oh, I can't wait to give you little kisses, little smooches on the mouth. It's just, it is what it is.
Was there adultery involved in this?
Yeah, so she cheated on her husband with 2 of them at least.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know if those were on the job, but it was just so revolting to see the text messages because of just how juvenile they were.
Yeah.
Was she good at her job?
I don't know if she,
She
wasn't
was a hell of an operator.
Yeah.
You know.
She was a hell of an
Yeah,
operator.
separate the art from the artist, guys.
Come
It's fucking
on,
bullshit.
I mean,
real.
if she's just, I don't know how you would kill it in that job, but like,
If someone calls you, I'm gonna fucking end it. Don't end it. I want to give you smoochies.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, no,
Maybe
that's
she's
when you're
saving
mixing
lives.
business and pleasure.
Maybe
you
she's
can't
saving
do,
lives.
You can't do
I mean,
that.
that's an interesting tactic.
It probably wouldn't be super helpful though in an emergency. Like you
Yeah.
probably not want to mix.
She's like,
that
you
at
have a
all.
home
I think
invader.
I'm having a heart attack. Don't do that. I'll suck your cock. What?
No, it's getting worse. Okay, debate time. Now that we know
Ooh.
what Charlie thinks about not getting refunds,
Yeah.
I think this will be a good opportunity for Austin to reveal what he thinks about tipping. tipping
Oh,
culture.
you and big anti-tipper?
No,
Oh.
I've changed my. Okay, so originally I'm like a big tipper.
Okay.
I like to tip specifically I have a driver in LA that frequently drives me around. I tip him minimum 40%
Nice.
usually.
That's huge.
Wait, how
Other
long?
side. Oh no.
Oh,
You
you
broke
Oh, it's
him.
ruined.
ruined him.
It's
Wait, let me-
over.
You've ruined him.
Thank you so much.
I know. This is,
So
I didn't want to say anything.
I tip at least 20% minimum, but I think tipping is getting out of hand. I was on a ride yesterday, a Lyft ride, and in the middle of the ride, I get a ding alert from the Lyft service that says, "Hey Austin, enjoying your ride? Show your driver you appreciate them by giving them a tip." In the middle of the ride.
It's like a threat at that point.
Yeah, it's like we haven't even made it to our destination yet, and like we just left the Tampa airport.
See, like I would agree that's a little egregious because you're not there yet.
Yeah.
So did you just stall or did you tip?
No, I
him?
didn't tip until the end of the ride.
No, he took a screenshot. He took a screenshot of it and sent it to the group chat and was
Check.
complaining.
Yeah, but also.
No, but I agree with that.
But
That
it's
one's
why
crazy.
I think America and Hassan has changed my perspective on this. I used to think, oh my God, tip people that don't tip, they're fucking jerks. But you know who the jerks are?
The employers,
corporates,
yeah.
the corporate employers that are putting the price of
Check.
tipping on the consumer because they're not willing to pay their employees a livable
That's
wage.
the root of the problem. But
Yeah.
by not tipping, you're not fighting back against that.
Right.
You're just hurting the
No,
Exactly.
but for the record, I do tip.
Yeah.
And even in Europe, I do tip. I appreciate it. It's a minimum 20%, but I do think the system is flawed.
Do you know what I've noticed?
Mm.
This grinds my gears. I don't
Look in the
mind tipping
corners.
people for, like takeout stuff. Like if I go get a coffee, and there's like a tip. You know what I mean? Like someone made a coffee. It's okay, whatever. I tip on.
I did something wrong here. I don't know what I did.
Stocked amounts. I've been going up. You notice this?
The percent amount of what?
Where
Like,
it's like,
they
do you
usually
want 10%,
10%, 50%, 20%.
Oh, gotcha.
25%. I've seen some of those motherfuckers go up to 45% now. It's like 45, 30, and then if you want to tip a normal human amount, you have to enter it by yourself.
Yeah. And then you're like disrespecting them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like sitting there.
You make a custom amount that's just below all the
Yeah.
averages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your like general guiding philosophy on tipping?
So I always do whatever the maximum allowed is. So I
Okay.
do a lot of Uber Eats because I don't really like
Maximum
driving.
allowed? You can infinitely tip. I
Well, no,
imagine.
like of the
No,
Maximum
not on the
allowed.
other. It says
Yeah.
usually it's 15,
Yeah, it's up
25,
to- okay, whatever
35.
the
So
maximum.
that's going up to 45% now.
I've only seen it to 26 here. That might be a
that's
California
in LA,
thing.
that goes way higher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might be a California.
There's all
thing.
sorts of taxes.
Make
associated with it,
no
I know.
mistake.
Yeah.
Tipping is tipping should not be, in my opinion, off of jobs performance. That's the secondary component of tipping culture in America. Is that like everybody likes to feel like they're making a performance assessment in that process, like while they're being served. And I think that that's part of the reason why it's also justified to, the overwhelming majority of the public is that like you get to make this decision in this circumstance. You're like a little lord, you know what I mean? You have your own little serf like serving you. And I think that is probably the secondary component as to why like people don't really push back against it. But I see tipping as as charity. Like I see it in the same way as charity, in the sense that like I always max out because I know for a fact that this person who's like serving me in the service sector is a 1,000,000% not making enough money and definitely needs the tip
Okay,
more than
what-
I do.
Just a hypothetical. Back to the origin of tipping. What if the service fucking sucks?
I still do it.
Yeah, it's so hard to just be
Yeah.
like, I'm not tipping off that. That's fucking tragic.
I never
yeah.
not tip unless it's like the worst I'll do is like 10%. If it's like really crap.
That's
No.
what I thought. I will still tip, but it'll be a
It'll be
shittier
less.
tip.
Now, and on the other end, when the service is like so my baseline's 20 always. That's like the default. 20%. If it's like crazy and like they're just like we're just having a good time. I
actually played
I've dropped some
96.
pretty big tips on people.
No,
And-
I
and just-
always
Now,
I
when I
always
say
max
bad
out.
service too, though,
I always max out. The only time I don't tip is when I can't because like they stole the food. You know what I mean?
that's what I'm saying. Sometimes
Like-
bad service in the current day and age isn't just like someone being inattentive at a table. It's like egregious.
Yeah.
It's like I had someone deliver something 3 blocks away,
Yeah.
and I had to go walk and get it. I still tipped, but I was like, That's
Yeah,
fine.
no. Other than like
That's
even
not-
even in a situation like that, I still max out because, like I said, I think I feel like it's charity. Like people will get mad at me for this. Someone who's working in the service sector might see this and like think, well, what the fuck? No, I think it is. It literally is. The way I approach it is, I think it's like an individual charitable donation you're giving to this person. I remove it entirely from the performance.
So I think have you been to Europe?
No.
Okay,
I've never been.
one
He
thing.
doesn't fly, bro.
Yeah, I don't fly.
Oh, that's true. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you can take a boat, right?
That's
You sail.
Yeah, you can take
Yeah.
a Zeppelin.
The
I could take the ferry.
The glory
You
of
can take
Europe.
the Queen Mary over to London.
I got to see it with
Yeah.
my own 2 eyes.
So one thing I do think tipping culture does in the United States is I think it breeds better service.
That's what I mean. That's dude. Even the
But
way
it does,
you mentioned,
though.
Yeah, but like, dude, think
Breed.
about
Unpack
that.
That was the most capitalist.
I
like-
know. Unpack that for a second. You're literally saying like, it's basically a gunpoint at that point. It's like the threat of like poverty from this meal. Like if they don't serve you so well, like they might not actually get paid a decent amount, especially when the actual like low amount that they can get away with like paying you in a restaurant is like $2.25 in certain states as the baseline.
No, and I think I agree with you on this. I'm just saying that the product of it is the service in Europe is like, like the UK in particular. Like you go to a bar or whatever, they don't give a damn. They don't give a. You show up and I'm like, I'm gonna take my business elsewhere. They're like, fuck off. That's what they say. They don't give a damn.
Yeah, fuck off,
You have no leverage as a consumer in other countries,
that's
which
not-
is why I think American business dominates the globe.
Amen, brother.
I disagree.
That
I
was a
think- I
very
think-
patriotic
Yeah,
I would
stance.
rather have servers make a living wage and like be able to survive and
We
pay
don't
for-
disagree on this point,
Yeah,
for the record.
and then give me shit service. I don't give a fuck. Like
We-
it sucks, but
We don't disagree. No, I would disagree on
we
that.
do disagree on this. You literally would lose. You would throw a hit at it every fucking time.
Like I'm
If-
a huge fan of American business and entrepreneurship, like Disney.
You a big Disney guy?
Big Disney, and they're fighting back against Ron DeSantis.
That's true. They just had that big blow up recently between the two of them.
How would you look? I know we're not supposed to. Get
We don't do
political here.
politics. We don't do politics on this podcast.
We don't do politics, but like, why would you piss on the company that literally made your state relevant?
because it's not real. It's just
Anyway,
theater.
Sorry, let's move on. I don't want to
It's
get into
not real.
politics.
It's theater. He makes it seem like he's like fighting against Disney because they're woke and gay now. It's like, when has Disney not been gay, brother?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are you talking about? Disney is literally the gayest shit. It's
Yeah,
like-
which is I love Disney. Do you like Disney?
Disney's all right, yeah.
You beat-
I don't like going to Disney at all, though.
Well, you're like close to Disney.
Yeah, but I've just never really liked it. I think the parks are just kind of ass.
Really?
Yeah, it's cool.